Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar presentation, Brightspot and AWS, introducing a hands-off approach to video publishing, brought to you by Brightspot. I would like to introduce you to our presenter. Our first presenter is Dan Slaughter. Dan has provided development leadership for Perfect Sense and its partners since 2010. With 12 years of professional experience, he has successfully led development efforts for large-scale partnerships, most recently for Univision, and continues to deliver technical guidance and proven expertise and understanding of the Brightspot platform. Before joining Perfect Sense, Dan was a senior software engineer for AOL, where he helped build a digital asset management system. And our next presenter is Stephen Main. Stephen specializes in helping partners take advantage of AWS's managed AI services with a development background. Stephen works to show how developers and data scientists alike can take advantage of the broad set of AI functionality that AWS offers.
Hi, everyone. This is Dan here. As we get started, I would like to first introduce the company behind Brightspot. Perfect Sense is a full-service product company. Everything we do with Brightspot centers around the three pillars you see here: delighting editors, empowering developers, and impacting businesses. First and foremost, it is about delighting editors. Not only making sure that you're not frustrated through your daily tasks, as you may be with your current CMS, but taking it much further to actually making your publishing simpler, easier, and just make sense. Ultimately, making you more productive. A lot of this comes from the fact that Perfect Sense was founded by content publishers, and many of us are content publishers. We understand the day-to-day work. We understand what it takes, from simple workflows to live preview capabilities, and even finding ways to actually correct your mistakes. It's all about delighting the editors. And second, it's about empowering developers. Whether our team is developing on Brightspot, it's your team, or a mix of the two, we always want to make sure that the capabilities are easy to develop, the page structures are easy to build, and the integrations are simple. And our approach to supporting developers is one where we kind of build all the common mundane structures for you, so that by the time you're ready to start working, you mostly just have to customize and apply your specific business logic. You don't have to build everything from scratch. And as such, in as little as 60 to 90 days, you can actually have launch a new site on Brightspot. And by serving the first two pillars there, we can ensure that we are impacting your business. So just a little bit more about the company and Brightspot. We are deployed globally with many of our customers, small, large, profit, not-for-profit. We have a very strong focus in the media space, with online digital experiences like Politico, online and print solution for San Diego Tribune, to video-driven experiences for Hallmark Channel. For Sotheby's, we also provide an e-commerce integration. In the corporate space, we have the opportunity to drive corporate news and communications and brand storytelling to global brands like J&J and Amazon. Our B2B work includes brands like Ziff Davis, containing online communities, and we have support for thousands of editors and writers for Bloomberg BNA. And finally, we support several nonprofit organizations, with some work falling under our mission pro bono work. So let's get to it. Video. I think it goes without saying that video is important. Everyone from your 3-year-old child to your grandma is consuming video on a daily basis. Video has taken over, how we consume content. While it rose to the top of the marketing tactic list in 2017, it's since exploded to dominate every platform and channel. today, video is no longer supporting content or a singular marketing tactic, but a crucial part of an organization's entire business strategy, and even an essential source of revenue for many publishers. If video isn't a streamlined and optimized part of your business, then there's something to be desired there. But it's not surprising when that doesn't happen, because video is hard. In many cases, you're working with many different systems, and those systems have to work together. You may have to log into different systems. You may have a large library of video, and you have to actually organize it all and manage it, and that takes time. And if you haven't set up the right processes in your workflow to streamline some of these things, it is a very manual and time-consuming process. And we all know that time ultimately does lead to costs. Depending on when you first started supporting video, you may be working in a system that still has legacy infrastructure, and things can just be very complex. And things can go wrong, and you may find yourself just relying heavily on development to actually, carry out your video practices. And so we can do better. What you need is, tools for your editorial team, but ultimately you want to have the right front-end experience to delight your customers. They're the ones who are going to be driving your revenue and consuming the content. But first, you have to enable those editors to be able to get the content out there. And so a rich set of editorial tools is necessary. With things like podcasting becoming a prevalent medium in the space, it's not video, but it is audio and very related and still just as important. You need to be able to get the right transcription capabilities so that people can actually read your content when listening or viewing isn't the right place. And as I mentioned before, we have to automate these processes as much as possible. The more we can automate, the less human interaction that we need, and the less mistakes ultimately that will be made. Once you have all this content, that's great, but you also need to be able to find it. Whether that's your users on the front end website or just your editors within the CMS itself, being able to actually find the content is super important. And you want to be able to find that content in the context of all your other content. You don't want video to be this special isolated thing. If you need articles, you need videos, images, you should be able to search for them all together. And ultimately, you need to be able to deliver this out to many different channels. It's not enough to just publish video on the web. People are consuming video on mobile, through consoles, through devices like Roku and Apple TV. You can't have just a single channel for publishing. So what we have done here at Perfect Sense with Brightspot is partnered with AWS and extended the capabilities that AWS provides to deliver immediate value to our customers. And we'll continue to leverage the breadth of services and embrace the pace of innovation that AWS provides. Together with these services, we can empower editors to efficiently create, search, tag digital content, not just video, but also articles and images. And we don't implement these solutions in a vacuum. We're making sure we're aware of everything that's going on in the market and in the field. And so now I'd like to actually show you a little bit of how we've accomplished this with Brightspot. First and foremost, it does start with video editing. And while video editing will continue to be done with more enterprise desktop applications, the reality of it is when you have editors that are on the go or just need to do very light editing, you want them to be able to do it quickly and easily through that web interface. So one of the things we provide is simple color correction. So you can adjust the brightness, the contrast, hue, saturation, take a video that's shot in low light, quickly up the brightness, or give your video that classic look by turning it to a black and white film. Watermarking, sometimes you want to brand that video content. And, again, you don't want to have to go do this on every single video that you create. And so with Brightspot, you can actually set up these overlays one time and just have them reused across all the videos you create. And you can specify the start time, the duration, opacity, fade options, and placement on the video. And once it's set up and configured, you can just keep reusing it. But if you need to do a one-off for a very special video, I'm sorry, was there a question? We also support clipping and trimming. So you can take a clip from a long video and actually make clips from it as new video assets to kind of produce like a highlight reel. And using the thumbnail film strip at the bottom, you can just sort of drag and drop, select the portion of the video that you want, and actually create a new video clip from it. So it's important to note that there is a difference between clipping and trimming. Trimming is just editing the existing video, where clipping is actually creating a new video asset. And we'll actually maintain that relationship so that you can know which videos are derivatives of another. And finally, when you present your video on your front end page, you want to be able to introduce it with some nice representative image. Thumbnails are automatically generated from your video, and then you can select which one you want to be the cover photo for it. And if you don't like it, you can always upload a custom video and use that, a custom image and use that instead. And finally, like I said, you need to be able to deliver this video out to many different devices. So transcoding is key. And it's also complex. But with Brightspot, you can do a one-time setup right from the CMS. And after you submit the video for transcoding, after you submit that job, you can actually monitor the status of it right from the UI. Or you can multitask, go do other things, and we'll send a notification when the transcoding is complete. And once the video is done, you can go in and actually view the renditions that were created and ensure everything is exactly as you expect. So some of these capabilities here, these are all being powered by AWS. And I'll let Stephen now talk a little bit about how AWS Elemental MediaConvert makes this possible.
Yeah, thank you. So, there's a few key things that are great benefits that you get by taking advantage of AWS Elemental MediaConvert. So the first of these is the broadcast grade capabilities that we give you. So Elemental MediaConvert lets you use a wide range of internet and professional media formats, which makes you able to produce really high quality video outputs, also ones that look great on every single device. So we have support for ultra high definition resolutions and also high dynamic range video. And so AWS Elemental MediaConvert offers really like a full set of tools for delivering those high quality viewing experiences that are so important at the last step of delivering that to your customer. So also the scalability and reliability that you get, Elemental MediaConvert doesn't require you to set up, manage, or maintain any of the underlying infrastructure. So all you need to do is just submit jobs with the video processing settings that you want, and that gets you started without having to spend time managing all of those underlying infrastructure. So Not only does AWS Elemental MediaConvert provision the required resources to process your jobs, but then it also will monitor them, so you don't have to worry about the reliability of those jobs running. And it allows you to scale easily because of its, cloud elastic nature. So if you need to output several different videos quickly, you don't have to worry about having the necessary compute resources. We can scale those up for you in real time so that you can get the amount of transcriptions done that you need. So AWS Elemental MediaConvert also has really simple, predictable pricing. So that lets you create high quality end-to-end video processing workflows without having that upfront investment in those servers that we talked about earlier. All you need to do is simply pay based on the duration of the videos that you have and which features that you choose to use. So it's really simple and predictable and allows you to have a better understanding of where your costs are coming from.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about was dealing with closed captioning. So, depending on your organization, you may or may not be actually including captions with your video. Sometimes you're a larger organization and you have your own, whether they're embedded in the video that you actually deliver or as a separate file. With Brightspot, you can just tell the system that, hey, I've got captions under control, and Brightspot will honor that. If you actually need help creating those captions, then Brightspot can actually automatically generate a transcript from the video for you. And from there, you can go back into the tool and actually start editing it. This also, the transcription that gets generated, it has timing information. If you have multiple speakers, it will let you know that as well, and also a confidence level for the accuracy of the transcription. So you can go and identify those problem areas and fix them. Another kind of usage of this transcript is, again, this goes back to the podcast example. You might actually want to publish that transcription as an actual long form, like an article content type to actually publish as part of your web experience. And with Brightspot, you can do that as well. And finally, because we're pulling this transcription for you, if you produce tens of thousands of content, again, you're gonna need a way to actually discover this content. And that transcription gets indexed by Brightspot so that when you go and search your repository, you can use the keywords and phrases from that transcription to very quickly find the video or videos that you're looking for. And all of the things that we do here with transcription, again, is powered by Amazon Transcribe. And I'll let Stephen talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so with Amazon Transcribe, traditionally when you think about speech recognition systems, they try and transcribe one word at a time, trying to figure out, what the closest word is that matches that audio. And it just will output a string of text without any punctuation or any real, sometimes sentence meaning. But the great thing about Amazon Transcribe is that it uses deep learning to try and construct sentences that really make sense. And it even will go in and add punctuation and formatting automatically so that the output that you get from the transcribe jobs is more intelligible, and it oftentimes can be used without any need for further editing. And then another great feature specifically that you get by using Amazon Transcribe is that it has the ability to recognize multiple speakers. So it's able to recognize when the speaker changes and attribute the transcribed text appropriately. So, in the example that we're talking about with a podcast, or, maybe you have a commercial that has lots of conversation, It can significantly reduce the amount of time that you need to transcribe that audio. And if you go through and edit it after the fact, you'll see that it's much easier to get intelligible transcriptions out of that long form video. So I'll pass it back to Dan.
Yep. So, I had mentioned search and being able to discover content. The transcription is just one way to do that. We can actually further improve the accuracy of your results using object recognition on the video and pull out those key objects, celebrities, and text, which may not have been called out in the actual transcript, and they may have just been present in the actual video itself. And in those cases, those keywords are extracted, and again, you can still use Brightspot's powerful search capabilities and get to the content that you're looking for quickly and efficiently. And I'll let Stephen describe some of the technology behind that as well.
Yeah, so like Dan said, a big use case of this tool is to organize the documents by topics, and really to be continually learning. I'm sorry, can you go back to the previous slide, Dan? Okay, yeah, all right. I got out of order here. So, okay, can you move forward one slide? Sorry about that. Okay, so the benefits of Rekognition specifically are the ability to continually learn. So we're training these items, these machine learning models that we have. They're continually getting smarter, and we train and update them with data. And that's something that happens totally transparent to you all. So you don't have to worry about getting the newest version. We're simply going to be doing that training behind the scenes and push up those new features to you. And then it also is fully managed and elastic. So whether you're taking, searching for one item, pushing one image through, or you're pushing through several different videos, we're going to be able to easily manage that workload and scale to meet your demands so that you have a consistent response time no matter how big the piece of item that you're trying to get visual recognition from is.
And finally, so on a similar topic, being able to find your content is great, but sometimes you want to be able to categorize things in a more structured way. If your organization has a structured taxonomy that you use to organize your content, Brightspot can actually leverage the transcription text and also the recognition keywords and actually offer tag suggestions. And so this enables you to just very quickly tag your content. You don't have to sit and watch a video all the way through to be able to find the right tags. If you're dealing with lots of videos and a very large taxonomy, this can be a huge time saver for your content editors. And the way Brightspot is currently leveraging this is another AWS service called Amazon Comprehend, and I'll let Stephen talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Comprehend really helps to make your content searchable. So you can analyze collections of documents and all kinds of different text files. It doesn't just have to be, news documents. It can be podcasts. It can be videos. If you get the audio out of that video and run it through Transcribe, now we can start to analyze that data using Comprehend. And it gives you a way to tag them by subject matter, and then you can both have it so that your editors can more easily find that data, but also potentially use that so that your end customers can more easily find that data. And another benefit of going with AWS here is that we give you multiple language support. So right now we have support for English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish text. But the power of AWS is that we're always looking to expand on the number of languages we offer. And so once again, we'll continue to work, and if a new language comes available, we'll push that out, and it's not going to require you all to upgrade or to pay additional for those extra languages. That's just one of the benefits that you get with going to AWS.
Great. So next, we can't talk about video without talking about advertising. Ultimately, it's great that everyone's consuming video, but if you're not actually monetizing it, then you're missing out. And with Brightspot, you can control the server-side ad configuration that's used for your videos. And oftentimes this can be a more complicated setup, but where Brightspot comes to the rescue is that you can set up these rules with the ad provider of your choice and leverage Amazon Web Services to actually bring those two things together and provide server-side ads. And Brightspot will let you set this up one time. You can set it up at the global level of your entire environment, or you can set it up on a per site basis in case different sites have different rules. And then if you need to, you can go down to the granular level and say, hey, for this specific asset, maybe I don't want to show ads at all, or I want to use some different ad rules or logic. But the idea here is giving you both the flexibility to be able to get to the granular level, but then also make it efficient so that you can set them up once and then just start producing content fast.
So a lot of this is powered. Yeah, a lot of this is powered by Elemental Media Tailor. So this is another one of our AWS Elemental services. So a big thing about using Media Tailor is that it really improves your video viewing experience. So what we're doing is, instead of just overlaying the advertisement on top of the video using a different video player, we're actually going to insert the advertising straight into the content stream, so that as viewers play the content, the ads are going to match the video quality and format of the video that we inserted the advertisement into. So that's going to allow you to have a consistent viewing experience. It's not going to be as jarring for users. And it can also improve the video quality of your ads and content together. And really, this is the best experience for users in terms of video experience with advertisements in it. And because we go ahead and insert those advertisements directly into the content stream, it's going to provide you protection against ad blocking as well. So a lot of the ad blocking software is looking for those video overlays that's going to come over the top. When it comes through directly in the video stream, it's not going to detect that as an ad. And not only does that give you, better throughput from your advertisers, but it's also going to give you better tracking, specifically when you're using iOS and Android devices and various different connected viewing devices. By inserting these advertisements directly into the video stream, it's going to help you more effectively measure the revenue impact of every single ad that's delivered.
And next, I wanted to talk a little bit about live streaming. We're doing a live event right now. Live video is an important part of the video story. And with Brightspot, you can actually configure and start and stop these live video stream channels directly from the UI. Using Brightspot's powerful scheduling capabilities, you can even automatically have a channel open at a particular time that an event is supposed to start. And after the event is over, Brightspot can automatically create a video on demand version of that live stream so that you can repurpose it and replay it on your website after the event is over. And at that point, all of the video capabilities that we previously discussed are now at your fingertips from that live video stream. So clipping, transcription, all that good stuff you will get. And again, this is made possible by AWS.
Yeah, so AWS Elemental MediaLive, it gives you the same broadcast grade capabilities that we talked about earlier with MediaConvert. So it makes it easy for anybody to produce these broadcast quality live streaming video events. And it has advanced capabilities for different audio and video settings, as well as providing secure transport of this video. And when it comes to high availability, the way that AWS has built this service is that it's going to manage resource across multiple availability zones. So these availability zones are basically one or more data centers that are in a geographically spread out area. So this gives you the ability to have redundancy in your live video broadcast. So the worst case scenario is if you had an event where you spent a lot of time producing it, setting things up, and then in a traditional environment, if you had something go wrong with your data center, all of a sudden you can't produce that video. So with AWS, because of the way that we've made this service redundant and highly available, that's a pain point that you're not going to have to worry about. So you'll have, the good news is that's transparent to you. So you simply just go with a pay-as-you-go model based on the number of hours of content that you process. So you don't have to worry about how am I going to set up high availability. That's something that's handled for you. And the resources that we spin up for you also can scale elastically with the demand. So that makes sure that as your audience scales up, your content can scale with it, and you don't have to worry about how you're going to handle that extra load.
Great. And finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about analytics. Brightspot has built-in analytics and also leverages some of the major players like Google Analytics and Adobe Analytics. But after you've done the good job of producing the video, curating the video, delivering the video, monetizing the video, you want to know how it's actually doing. And here you can see this is just a dashboard that's kind of like a global view or a site level view of your video performance across the board, the top videos. You can see site traffic for over a week or year or month. But you can also get these analytics at the asset level. So if you're looking at a specific video, you can get these same types of graphs, the watch funnel, the amount of time spent, the uniques, the views, etc. And this is where you can really start to impact your business and make smart decisions about how you're delivering video to your customers. And with that, I actually wanted to go in and kind of show a live demo of some of this stuff in action. We are at a live event, so I thought it made sense to actually show live video. So I will do that now. So what you see here is a live video channel that's been configured and set up. Like I said before, I can actually start and stop this channel from within Brightspot itself. And this particular live stream is actually streaming live on a web page now. We're going to wave in the room. There's obviously a delay, but eventually you will see hands going up in the air on that screen. And I will actually share this link out to to the group, and you all can see for yourselves. So for those following along, if you look in your chat window, I just provided a link to the same exact front end that you're seeing on my screen now. There's some waving happening, and yeah, so that's kind of just a glimpse of the live stream happening in real time. Again, if I wanted to stop the channel, I could just click this button, and away we go. And the next thing I wanted to show was, we talked mostly about how Brightspot, helps you to manage the video, but working at Perfect Sense, we also are about helping our customers build beautiful experiences, and I wanted to highlight a little bit of how we have done that for our own websites here. So right now I'm viewing a website called inspireconfidence.com, and I have a video asset here. We came up with a concept that we call companion content, and the idea here is, again, now that in Brightspot, all of your content types are first-class citizens. Video isn't this special snowflake. I can come here and actually say, you know what? I want to associate some additional content to this video at specific times. And we have a little UI here that lets you add companions and preview the video, etc. I'm going to turn off my audio. And so what you can see here is at the 1:35 mark, I'm actually scheduling it to bring up an article. And so if I scrub the video a little bit, hopefully what you will see is, okay, I might have overloaded the system here. But at that 1:35 mark, you'll get a little notification over the screen that actually says, hey, there's some additional content that you might want to view or might be interested in. And so now you can actually play the video and also read the content at the same time. And if you want to switch views and kind of focus more on the reading experience, you can quickly toggle that. With Brightspot, we also deal with playlisting. So you may have more than one video, and so you need a way to be able to actually organize these things and configure the order of the videos that they'll play in. And we even support dynamic playlists. So once you've tagged your content appropriately and everything's good to go, you can say, hey, I want to make a playlist about sports. And you can have all your recent sports videos play one after the other. Let's go back to the video. Not sure what happened there, but it is a demo after all. So, but that is to say, Brightspot really can be your end-to-end solution for video. And one important thing I want to note is that it's not all or nothing. Here we showed several AWS services that can come together to improve your video workflows. But you know what? Some of these things work on other content types. Like you can use Rekognition against images, and you can, even if you aren't ready to switch from your current OVP over to Amazon Elemental, you can still take advantage of some of these services. So in conclusion, the benefits of Brightspot and AWS is that we do make it possible for you to work within one system. Reduce the amount of content switching that you have to do, removing those steps in your video workflow, ultimately increasing your time to market for video content, and make yourself a differentiator with your brand. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Dan and Stephen. Right now, we do not have any questions. So audience, if you do have any questions, please ask them in the questions panel. So Dan and Stephen, is there anything you would like to add right now?
If you want to learn more, you can head over to brightspot.com, and you can also request a demo at demo@brightspot.com. And I think now is the portion where we will open it up for Q&A.
Great. We do have one question that just came in. Do you have or include migration if we did choose to get on board with video within Brightspot?
I must choose every action from that place that is me, and truly me.
Dan, would you like me to ask the question again?
Yes, sorry, I was having some technical issues with my audio. Yes, please.
It's all good. The question is, do you have / include migration if we did choose to get on board with video within Brightspot?
I'm sorry, I missed part of that. Something about onboarding with Brightspot and video?
Yes, do you include migration if they did choose to onboard with Brightspot?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's a great question. That falls into the realm of Perfect Sense's professional services. Pretty much nowadays, every project that we do, we're really taking on someone who has an existing site. Migration is always a part of the project, sometimes the most important part of the project, and it's something that we start right from the beginning. As part of that second pillar about empowering developers, we have tools to help aid that migration, whether that's video content or articles or images or anything else. We start the migration process right away and get it into the system and make sure that the client has the tools to be able to review it, make changes, and go from there.
Great. That does look like all the, oh, we just got one more question come in actually. Sorry, that was misunderstanding on my end. That is all the questions that we currently have. So is there anything else you would like to add before I close things out, Stephen or Dan?
Nothing for me.
I guess all I would like to say in closing is just that Perfect Sense and here at Perfect Sense with Brightspot, we're pretty much always working. We're never finished. And what you saw today is just a glimpse into what we're working on, and we're going to continue to make improvements, leveraging more Amazon Web Services, and kind of extending those workflows and automating things even further. One thing that I didn't touch on much, but is very important to many businesses, is around translation. And we have translation plugins already, but integrating them into the video workflows, into the transcription workflow bit, and actually enabling you to create closed captionings in multiple languages is very important. And so we're just continuing to evolve on this. Video is a space that will continue to evolve, and Perfect Sense and Brightspot aims to stay at the forefront.
Perfect, great.
So thank you everyone again.
Awesome. And with that, I'd like to thank you, Dan, and also Stephen for providing the audience with a great webinar presentation. And I would also like to thank today's sponsor, Brightspot. And also one last thank you to everyone who attended today. We hope you learned something new that will help you in your developer career. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.